But because this is private property, you cannot do it.
Why is that?
Because you can't. It's registered, but I'm not going into it. But you can't take videos of the company and the product that we send out.
Of course I can. Here,
No,
can
you
I just tell
can't.
you one
It's
more
private
thing?
property, you can't.
I'm about to fly a drone over and get some aerial shots.
No.
I'm definitely going to do that now.
So we can't allow any full filming of our site because of the nature of what we do. We're a pharmaceutical factory. We're Home Office registered with the licences. Security is the utmost.
I've just spoke to this lady here. She said the same thing. What prevents me from doing that?
I could think that you're scoping our site out to burglars.
Oh yeah, you could think anything, couldn't you? Really, you could think anything, really, couldn't you? You could think, yeah.
You could, pal. I mean, I don't want to fall out of it, but I mean, listen. How about? But if I call the police and get their thoughts on it and see what they think.
Being a pharmaceutical factory or registered with the Home Office does not automatically grant a facility special protections against public filming. There are certain legally protected sites in the UK, such as nuclear plants, military bases, or locations designated under the Official Secrets Act. But a private business, even one dealing with pharmaceuticals, does not fall under these restrictions. This is a common tactic used by businesses invoking official-sounding terms to make it seem like filming is prohibited when in reality public photography...
But when you call the police, what are you going to do? Are you going to just like dial 999 or something like that?
I'm going to call the police and just say, look...
On what number?
I don't know yet.
Alright, okay.
Yeah, I'll have a bit and just say, look...
I'll be gone by the time they get here though, if you ring like 101 or whatever, and you can't dial 999, can you?
You can't send a drone over our site and have them film our site.
Why?
Because it's against our security policy.
Oh, yeah, your policy though, not law. It's not against the law, is it?
That's fine, but I don't know what the laws or drones are, but I would be fairly confident to think that surely it's not right to bring a drone onto private property and start filming our site. What if that drone landed on someone and hurt them? Just from a safety standpoint.
Yeah.
You know, what if there's a wagon? What if it distracts someone and they get injured? It's just, I can't. It's not right. Surely it can't be right. I can't say it's not legal because I don't know the law, but that's why I want to check with the police. I want to get their steer on it. But for me, can you stop what you're doing at the moment just whilst I find out from the police?
He doesn't know the laws on drones, but still insists it's not right due to safety concerns. He argues that if the drone were to fall, it could injure someone or that it might distract a worker and cause an accident. However, these hypothetical scenarios do not justify stopping the auditor from flying his drone, especially when he hasn't even launched it. Yet the CAA already regulates drone safety, ensuring that pilots follow rules to prevent accidents and minimize risks. If drone flights were prohibited based on what could happen, then no one would ever be allowed to fly drones anywhere, which is not how the law works. Safety is a pilot's responsibility, and unless there are official airspace restrictions in place, there is no legal reason why the auditor can't fly.
Filming our site because it's going to jeopardise our security. Somebody could look at that footage and scope out our entire site and look at how the best way to burglars is.
Do they not do that with Google Maps?
No.
Why?
Because you're going to a much further detail. Yes, they could, but you're one about flying a drone in and going to full detail of our site.
Oh, I didn't say full detail. It's just a drone show. I'll be quite high up. I'm not going to be looking for. I probably won't be looking for your windows or anything like that. I'll probably be about 40 meters or more up in there.
Can't have people filming our site because it's going to jeopardize our security. Somebody could look at that footage and scope out our entire site and look at how the best way to burgle us is. Could they not do that with Google Maps? No. Why? Because you're going to a much further detail. Yes, they could, but you're one about flying a drone. And you're going to full detail of our site. Oh, I didn't say full detail. It's just a drone show. I'll be quite high up. I'm not going to be looking for. I probably won't be looking through your windows or anything like that. I'll probably be about 40 m or more up in there. This is a key point because UK drone.
A bit of filming out in public, and that's it really. That's all you need to know.
Well, do you mind giving us your details?
My details?
Yes, your details.
I'd rather not.
Well, that's not the answer to the question that I asked though, is it? Would you mind, as in, are you going to, or are you going to refuse?
It depends what section of the law you're using when you request those.
I'm not using any section of the law.
Yeah, I'd rather not. Then that's.
Why do you think that you're guilty of committing a criminal offence? Because if you do, then I've got a power to demand that you give me your name.
Do I think I'm? No. It's the other way around.
Skirting around legislation.
Yeah.
Then why wouldn't you give your name?
Already regulate how and where drones can operate, ensuring privacy and safety. Drones under 250G, like the one the auditor is Using can be flown closer to people and buildings compared to heavier drones. However, they must still be operated safely and must not endanger people or property. The legal height limit for drones in the UK is 120 m, meaning the auditors fly at 40 m is well within the legal range. Now in the video, the police officers arrive and show disgusting attitude towards the auditor.
Out here doing illegal activity.
Doing illegal activity?
No, doing illegal activity. I'm just out here doing illegal activity. And that's it. I'm not breaking any laws and stuff, so I don't need to give you my details. So I'm not going to give you my details unless you use a section of the law that requires me to provide those details.
The way that I do my job is that I am well aware of my duty to the public. I want to speak to people in a conversational manner that will hopefully get a situation.
You're contradicting yourself though now.
How am I contradicting myself?
You said you're aware of all this kind of stuff. You're not. You walked up to me without even identifying. You're supposed to identify as in your code of practice.
I'm supposed to identify myself when I drive past you in my vehicle?
Yeah. You're supposed to walk up to me and say, hello sir, my name is PC.
No, I don't have to call you sir.
If there is no legal basis for demanding personal details, then the request is nothing more than intimidation. Police cannot legally require someone to provide their name unless certain conditions are met, such as reasonable suspicion of a crime, being issued a penalty notice, or engaging in antisocial behavior. The fact that the officer admits there's no legal authority behind a demand proves that this is pure pressure, not policing. As if the lack of legal justification wasn't bad enough, the officer's tone is aggressive from the start, making it clear that he's not here to have a reasonable discussion. He's here to assert dominance. His approach is confrontational, showing no professionalism or respect for the auditor's rights.
You don't have to, but it'd be polite, wouldn't it?
So we're giving you details to us.
I don't understand what your issue is. I'm confused.
Right, you carry on with what you were going to say anyway.
Yeah, what we were saying is that we've come here because someone's called us.
Okay.
You are seemingly doing this because you've got a lot of free time, and they are at work, worried that what you are recording won't necessarily be for a means that they are happy with. So your footage, if it's basically published on the internet or something similar, could get into the hands of anybody that was wanting to use that footage for good or bad purposes. They manufacture pharmaceuticals at this site, okay? So it's quite a sensitive business.
The auditor rightfully calls out the officer for failing to identify himself upon approach, reminding him that it's part of the police code of practice. Officers are required to identify themselves when engaging with the public, especially when making demands or initiating an interaction. Rather than correcting his mistake, the officer doubles down on his arrogance, responding with, "I don't have to call you sir." While technically true, this response reveals a complete lack of respect for the person he is engaging with. The issue isn't about calling someone sir, it's about professionalism, approach, and basic courtesy. This attitude is a clear reflection of bad policing. Officers are meant to serve the public, not treat them with hostility.
Flying it over the plum centre, are you? You're not flying it over there, you're flying it over what is in this vicinity the most sensitive building that you could have chosen. So,
don't get too
goes
close.
Back to my question.
Yeah, go on.
Why have you done that?
No.
Oh, well, I'm just doing the drone show.
Yeah, I'm doing a drone show. I chose a building today. Why would I do a drone show over a plumbing business that's like this? That's tiny. It'd take me 4 seconds. It'd take me 2 seconds to fly over that plumbing's place, and it wouldn't produce such a good drone show, would it? That's your answer to that, isn't it?
I don't know who's plugging into your drone.
Yeah. I just think.
If you wanted to go on Google Maps, you can see what's on that.
Now resorts to provocation, making an unnecessary and sarcastic comment when the auditor explains he's filming for his drone show instead of remaining professional. The officer mockingly responds, "I don't know who's plugging into your drone show." This is nothing more than a cheap attempt to undermine the auditor, showing that the officer isn't interested in policing fairly. He's trying to wind him up. The irony becomes even more obvious when the officer himself admits that you could just look at the site on Google Maps. This completely contradicts the entire argument that the site is too sensitive to be filmed. If high-resolution satellite images of the facility are freely available to anyone, how can they possibly justify trying to restrict a legally flown drone?
That's the whole point of it, isn't it? You can see it on Google Maps, so why are they bothered about somebody flying a drone over?
Well, whether or not they're bothered or not, you don't have to be here, do you? You've chosen to be. They come to work because they're employed here. So you've taken time out of your schedule to come here to seemingly antagonise people.
No, not seemingly antagonise people. You're Mr. Obvious. You're just quoting obvious things.
I'm just asking you for your name. It's a very simple question. I can't demand your name.
Yeah, exactly.
What I'm saying to you is, if you know the answer to questions, don't ask them. And if you know why you don't have to give you your name, just decline. But don't get caught up in this, well, do you think I've committed a crime? I'm asking you if you can give me your name. That's all I'm asking you to do.
But you're saying obvious things that mean nothing. You've come out here and you're talking about stuff. You're saying, you've chosen to do this, you've chosen to do that. Does that, what business of that is yours?
Officer once again asked for the auditor's name despite already being refused earlier in the interaction. This is where the officer's true intentions become clear. He knows he has no legal power to demand. Yet he keeps pushing, hoping the auditor will eventually comply out of pressure. Since the officer cannot cite any section of the law to justify the request, there is no legal reason for him to keep asking if providing details was a legal requirement. He would have enforced it the first time instead of repeatedly fishing for compliance. This type of behavior is a blatant misuse of authority. When an officer knows they have no power to enforce something but keeps pushing anyway, it exposes an attempt to pressure and manipulate rather than uphold the law.
That's what I'm here to do. If you're giving an account of yourself and I don't believe it to be suspicious, I'll let you on your way. That's absolutely fine. I just find the way that you go about interacting with me very peculiar. That's
this is another thing. You're saying things like, I'll let you go on your way. You can't stop me going on my way.
I'm not stopping.
Yeah, exactly. So don't say silly things like that.
Right.
Don't say
Are you ready to
things
leave now? Because
no, I'm not ready to leave now. I'm going to stay a little bit longer now.
So what will you be doing then?
I've literally got to go around that way and get the drone show from that side, because you have to keep line of sight of the drone. So if I stand here and fly it right over there, then I'm breaking.
It's a great example of the auditor knowing the law and planning ahead. Under UK CIA regulations, drone pilots must maintain visual line of sight at all times while flying. This means that once the drone is in the air, the pilot must be able to see it without relying on a screen or telemetry. If the auditor were to launch his drone and then move out of sight, he would be violating aviation laws by explaining this. The auditor shuts down any attempt to pressure him into leaving, making it clear that his position is not random. It is necessary for legal drone operation rather than just complying with police requests for the sake of it. He ensures that he is following the law whilst on the road.
There's 3 gates to this place. Gate 1, Gate 2, Gate 3 is right round the other side.
Right, so you're not going to access their facility?
I'm not going to go in. I never go onto people's premises. That's the whole point of this thing. I'm out in public doing a lawful activity. I'm just out in public doing a lawful activity, and you guys turn up anyway. Yeah, so
the conversation would have been a lot shorter if you'd just given me your name. I could have checked you and then we could have gone, yeah, he's not recorded. Or if he is, then we've got something to talk about, then, haven't we?
Well,
we could have just gone on from there.
I can tell you now I'm not, but yeah.
Well, I don't know that, don't
yeah.
That compliance would have ended the encounter sooner, but that's not how policing is supposed to work. The length of an interaction should not be dependent on whether someone surrenders personal information they are not legally required to give. By repeating this request for the 3rd time, the officer shows a clear unwillingness to accept the auditor's legal right to refuse. Instead, he's resorting to passive-aggressive pressure, suggesting that the auditor is responsible for prolonging the conversation, when in reality, it's the officer who refuses to move on. This kind of policing is deeply flawed because it creates the illusion that people must comply with unlawful requests just to avoid hassle.
No, I'm not going to give my details because I don't need to. I don't want to. And I know who you share the PNC with. So
well, you know more than me because I don't.
You're not.
I mean, can I just query one thing? You are wearing a mask with a massive hole in it. You know that,
yeah, because you guys are recording.
Yeah. So are you wearing that to cover your identity?
Because I don't want to be on your footage.
The irony here is unbelievable.
You've come to me. I've not come to you to ask to be on your footage.
You don't like being on footage.
No, I didn't say I don't like being on footage. I said I don't want to be on your footage. I haven't walked up to you and walked up to your camera.
So you don't want to be on footage, but you think it's your right to record whoever you want.
Is a completely flawed argument that holds zero legal weight. Wearing a mask is not illegal and does not change the auditor's rights. The police themselves regularly wear masks, balaclavas, or other facial coverings in certain situations, yet no one questions their legitimacy. The officer's attempt to use this as some kind of suspicion marker is nothing more than a weak attempt to justify the pressure they're putting on the auditor. The order to filming in public is a legal right. He is documenting a situation where there is no expectation of privacy. However, police bottom cameras are subject to strict policies, including informing people when they are being recorded and ensuring the footage is Stored and used appropriately, the auditor is not a government authority with legal obligations on data storage, retention, or use. He is a private individual exercising his rights. I didn't say...
I've been recording anybody.
You're recording me?
No, you've walked up to the camera. Basically, like, yeah, I never put people on camera. What I do is I record the building, and people come to me. People come onto my camera. You've been here for a long time, wasting taxpayers' money. But yeah, go on.
The concept of time is a bit skewed. I haven't been here for a long time at all. I've been here for about 5 minutes. That's not a long time.
To me, that is just for this.
I just don't understand why you say to me that you don't like people recording you, but you think it's your God-given right to record anybody.
I didn't say that, but you don't need to understand that anyway. Just it's just time to crack on and go find some crime, you know what I mean? That's what people...
The job is to deal with actual crimes, not harass people who are legally filming in public. The fact that he won't walk away even after acknowledging that there's no crime taking place exposes a bigger issue in policing officers who refuse to admit when they're wrong and instead try to exert authority where they have none. This entire exchange could have ended the moment the officer realized the auditor was doing nothing unlawful, but instead he chooses to escalate and prolong the situation, proving that his ego is more important than actually serving the public and responding to real crimes. The order to calling him out is completely justified, because right now this officer isn't fighting crime, he's creating unnecessary conflict where none existed.
You can't go find some crime. There's got to be some calls coming in now, aren't there, around here?
No. We're in the safest county in the country.
Yeah. Excellent. No, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
So that's a good thing, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It is, definitely.
Unfortunately for you, and fortunately for us, there isn't any crime for us to look at right now. There's no reports. The radio's not going off. It's not silly season where I've got to run away to all these different bits and bats. We've got more than enough time to speak. So, if you want to cut this conversation short, though, you could just give me your name and I could check you through the system.
That's definitely not going to happen.
If an officer lacks the authority to require something, they shouldn't persist, as if they do. The fact that this is now the 4th time he has asked for details despite being repeatedly refused makes it clear that this is about coercion, not legitimate. Policing. The officer also contradicts himself, claiming this is the safest county with no ongoing crime. Yet instead of focusing on actual policing, he fixates on hounding someone for information. He has no right to demand this kind of conduct. Is exactly why public accountability is crucial. By this point, the auditor's refusal couldn't be clearer, yet the officer refuses to let it go. His insistence on repeating the same question isn't law enforcement. It's an attempt to wear the auditor for...
I've been through the reasons. I don't want to. That's not what I'm here for. I don't feel the need to stop and account for myself when I'm doing a fully legal activity. I'm just out in public, doing a fully legal activity. I'm not going to stop and account for myself.
What's your intention now? To continue recording?
I'm not going to say anything more, to be honest with you. You can just guess, do your guesswork now if you like. I'm not going to go straight away. I've got some more bits to do before I leave, so you'll be going before me, kid.
Glad you're so cooperative.
What was that, sorry? Missed that.
Glad you're so cooperative, and thank you very much for your time.
Alright, thank you.
Encounter has perfectly showcased everything wrong with how some officers handle situations like this. From the start, the officer approached with a condescending and aggressive attitude, treating the auditor as if he was obligated to comply with demands that had no legal backing. Instead of handling the situation professionally, he resorted to pestering, intimidation tactics, and unnecessary provocations, asking for details for separate times despite having no authority to enforce it. His behavior also exposed a complete lack of knowledge about public photography and drone laws. He repeatedly tried to paint the site as a sensitive business to justify restrictions that don't exist, contradicted himself when mentioning Google Maps, and even threw in unnecessary sarcastic remarks to provoke a reaction. A well-trained officer would have assessed the situation, recognized that no crime was being committed, and left, but instead this officer chose to create a confrontation where there didn't need to be one. Ultimately, this entire exchange was a waste of time, not because of the auditor, but because of the officer's stubborn refusal to accept reality. His persistence in pressuring someone for details they were not required to give only made him look increasingly unprofessional. Instead of policing by the law, he policed by ego, and in the end it got him nowhere. This kind of interaction is exactly why police accountability matters. Without a camera rolling, the officer's conduct would have gone unchallenged, and his repeated demands for information could have intimidated someone into compliance. But instead, the auditor stood his ground, and the officer was left with no choice but to walk away exposed, frustrated, and ultimately unsuccessful. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me continue with my independent coverage. Also, don't forget to check out Northern Audit. His channel is linked in the description. Show him some love. Thanks for watching.